for onecry.com.
Do you?
Greetings, KELP listeners. My name is Terry Gray, and I have the joy and privilege of serving as the pastor of Calvary Chapel Sun City, located on the west side of El Paso. I also have the joy of connecting with the radio audience in the borderland through the Summons broadcast heard each weekday at 5 p.m. right here on this station. On Summons, we study the Bible book by book, chapter by chapter, verse by verse, precept by precept. Please join us each weekday at 5 p.m. for Summons right here on KELP.
You are listening to KELP El Paso. Feed your mind, feed your soul at 1590 AM, 95.9 FM. Streaming worldwide at KELPradio.com.
915 Talk is a production of Desert Voice Media. You can visit desertvoice.media to learn more.
915 TALK.
The world is looking at El Paso.
What will we say to the world? From the KELP studio in El Paso, this is 915 Talk.
And now your host.
Good afternoon, beautiful citizens of the borderland. This is 915 Talk, and I'm your host, Andy Frecka. Today we are broadcasting from the heart of the world's largest borderplex. We're here at the KELP studio in El Paso, and today we have the distinct pleasure of having Mac Daddy Del Norte on the board. Mac Daddy, how you doing this afternoon?
Hey, Andy, I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I must confess that my vocabulary is painfully poverty-stricken. I am completely unable to describe the wonder and joy of this educational journey that we have embarked upon. As each and every weekday afternoon, we learn to love our city, love our neighbors, and give God all the glory.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And today we have a very special guest with us.
Oh, how so?
Do you know why she's special?
Yeah, definitely. She is the unique expression of an...
What is happening?
We're getting interrupted with some breaking news.
We have some breaking news? Oh, wow.
Yes.
What's the breaking news, Mac Daddy?
Important announcement. You can now feed your mind, feed your soul with the KELP radio app. Listen to your favorite Christian teaching and talk programs on your smartphone from anywhere in the world with the KELP radio app. You can download the app on your app store now.
Oh, wow. Yeah, because a lot of people are calling the station. Actually, I'm just making this up.
Oh, okay.
And they're like, what? How can I download the KELP radio app?
Mm-hmm.
And what we tell them is, you just go to the app store.
Yes.
And you look for KELP radio.
Yes.
But you know what? That sounds expensive.
Oh, not at all.
Oh, really?
Not at all. It is totally free, Andy.
Free? Oh,
yes.
You're saying the most valuable message in the world we're offering free of charge to our neighbors here in the borderland?
Yes, that is correct.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So all they have to do is download the KELP radio app.
That's all.
Okay.
I mean, the most that they'll actually have to do is move their finger and type, go to the app store, type KELP radio.
KELP radio, and it'll just pop right up, and it'll be free.
And it'll be free to
And what's
install.
cool about that is a lot of people are making plans to travel this spring, this summer, and you can listen to KELP radio as you're traveling cross country.
Yes.
Even when you're outside of the bounds of 1590 AM.
You could take the radio with
95.9 FM, 89.3 in Las Cruces.
Yes.
When you reach the edge of that coverage, you can just switch to what?
To the KELP radio app.
That's right. Oh, we were talking about our special guest.
Oh, yes, definitely.
But first, you know what I'm thinking about today, Mac Daddy Del Norte?
No, I don't know what you're thinking
I'm
about.
thinking about celebrations.
Okay.
You have a little girl.
I do?
Yeah, and I hope you're saving up already.
Actually, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Because you have a wedding, down the road, a couple of decades from now.
Couple of decades, yeah.
Right? You better start saving up. But before that, what else do you have?
2 boys.
No, don't worry about them. They'll take care of themselves. We're just talking about your girl. What's going to come up before the weddings?
Oh, yeah.
It's more expensive than a wedding.
Probably a quinceañera. Birthday parties, etc.
Yeah, you better get ready. So we're going to be talking about celebrations today.
Okay.
Yeah, so with us today, we're going to be talking about celebration. I think that's cool. That's a big part of the Borderland community.
Yes.
More than other places around the nation is we love our celebrations.
Yes.
And have you ever heard of Grace Gardens?
I have. It's really nice.
Yeah, it's
very,
nice.
very fancy.
Yeah, I'm going to tell my story about going to Grace Gardens here in a little bit. But we have the owner of Grace Gardens in this studio.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about celebration. We're also going to be talking about Grace Gardens. So without further ado, let's give a very warm Borderland welcome to the one, the only, Sandra Rodriguez. Sandra, welcome to 915 Talk.
Hi, Andy. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this is your first time on the radio, huh?
It is.
You have all these big celebrations at Grace Gardens, but you're not the one with a microphone. You're not the one out front. You're out there supporting. And here we put a microphone right in front of you. And we're going to be talking about the journey of Grace Gardens. We're going to be talking about celebrations. But what crossed you and your husband's mind where you suddenly decided to build this venue in the Upper Valley on the far west side of El Paso in what I think was probably just a cotton field? Tell us the story.
It pretty much started as a vision. Honestly, did not think that it would be as big as it has become. My husband was always been an entrepreneur. And so we used to have a tent company, El Paso Tents and Events.
Okay.
And
is that where you show up like with a pickup truck and you
Yes.
set up the tent in someone's backyard for their home party?
Yes.
And I feel like there's a lot of those companies around town.
A lot. And actually, we were one of the largest.
Okay.
And so George very much built it and was very, always just very motivated to make everything right. And so he always saw a niche in El Paso that we needed to offer more. A lot of people, we noticed that a lot of companies, a lot of events in El Paso used to subcontract from Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Oh, wow.
Or other areas.
Really?
And so, El Paso did have some companies, but he really was trying to grow fast. So
super cool. Yeah.
I think one of the largest events we had was the Amigo Air Show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we used to do all the tents there, and that was a lot of work.
Yeah. So I kind of made the joke about the guys who put up the tents in the backyards, but you're talking about tents that are much larger than that. Okay. So, what is the biggest tent you would take somewhere? Like, how many people could you fit inside?
I don't know, 1,000 people, 2,000 people.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Very large tents. Yes.
Okay. All right.
But we also started having a lot of weddings. People wanted to have backyard weddings, and we would go to their backyards and set up these tents with the liner and draping and dance floor and tables and linens. So we
in their yard
or in somebody's yard.
Yeah, sure.
And of course, it kind of became the trend in TV shows and Say Yes to the Dress, or for some reason, the wedding industry really started to pick up. So everybody wanted like a tent wedding.
Okay.
El Paso had the perfect weather.
Right.
But again, sometimes, winds in El Paso can
wind.
be pretty bad. Yeah.
Yeah. And if it rains, it really rains.
Yes.
It doesn't rain very often, but when it does, we notice it's usually pretty hard. Okay. So there was this trend. What years are we talking?
In the 90s, well, actually early 2000s.
Okay.
So 2004, 2005. We started the tent company, and we were already married in the year 2000. So we, about 2003, around there, we went to my cousin's wedding in a California Japanese garden, and I fell in love with the whole outdoor feel of a wedding and a garden. And driving back from LA, I kept telling my husband, we need to do something maybe like this. And
so the 14-hour drive home, the whole time, you're
yes,
like, we have to do this.
We had this idea, and at the moment we were very busy. So then eventually, I think George started realizing this is a lot of work, putting tents all over the city. People were asking if we knew of a place where they could set up the tent, or that they would allow them to set up the tents and have their weddings there. So there wasn't, other than public parks, and of course going through the city was going to be a pretty tough,
the permitting process,
permits,
all that,
So we started looking at properties, and I grew up in Sunland Park, but I went to Gadsden High School, so the bus would always drive through these beautiful fields and the beautiful west side, Upper Valley, and I took George over there. We looked at the property. He fell in love. He said, we need to build it here. Of course, my vision was 2 acres, because I was thinking of a small His vision was, no, 40 acres. So
40 acres.
Yes.
Wow. And so that's what you ended up with, is 40 acres.
Yes.
And we're talking about West Side Drive. It's, I think most of our listeners know where that is, but it's far west side of El Paso. It's kind of up close to Canutillo. For those who know where Artcraft is, it's just a few minutes from Artcraft.
Yes.
Yeah. Very good. Okay, so 40 acres.
Now, that's what we bought, but we actually built on 13, 14 acres.
Sure, okay,
Yes.
yeah. You didn't put out 40 acres of tents.
No, but we did buy the... That would have been crazy. Well, he actually thought, let's build an indoor facility and then also a tent, so people can have the option of both.
Okay, so it's interesting because people wanted the tents. They were not looking for, at least in the beginning, they were not looking for like a big building or something like that. They loved the tents. So you decided in the end you bought this big piece of land out in West Side, right?
Yes.
And then you put up a tent and you decided to build a permanent structure.
So yes, in order for us to be able to build this, of course we had to go to the bank and prepared a business plan. But since there was nothing like that here in El Paso, I had to research in Houston and Austin and San Antonio.
Oh, wow.
I prepared a full lesson plan. The teacher in me comes up. But the whole business plan, and presented it to the banks. We put all together all the finances, and believe it or not, nobody would lend us the money.
Oh, wow.
Nobody. I think I went to every bank in El Paso. The last one was for Savings Bank. I'll say it. They saw the vision, and we did do an SBA loan to get started. And that's why we had to build a building, because the tent was just not going to.
Right. And so speak into that, because there might be some people listening who are planning on building a business. They're out there looking for a loan. What would maybe your advice or your thoughts be for someone who's in that beginning stage? You're trying to share the vision, and it seems no one's understanding it.
One of the things that really helped us out is keeping our finances, our books as clean as possible. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of taxes you pay. Sure. But, you just don't cut corners.
Right.
And
I love that.
You just pay and report what you need to do, and you try to follow as good as you can what the law says. And I believe God blesses that.
Yeah.
He does. And we had somebody that assisted me on reconciling. So when I prepared my finances and everything and went to a bank, they were impressed. They said, "This is great. You're bankable." In other words, the problem was not getting the loan and being approved. It was more getting them to see the vision of something that was nothing that they could compare it to El Paso. I mean, to our business.
Right. So if you came with the idea of a car wash, they've seen 1,000 car washes because we have lots of car washes in El Paso, or I don't know. I'm gonna make a joke like a hot dog stand or whatever. Yes. They'd seen these things, but they hadn't seen an event center like what you were describing.
No, and they thought we were crazy to go in that far in the Upper Valley to build something out there. And but again, we had the vision and we prayed about it and said if God allows this, we'll do it. And I remember saying it would be through God's grace only.
Yeah.
And that's why we called it Grace Gardens.
Okay. So I had to ask you that. So you already told us it's if God builds this event center, it's by his grace. So we're calling it Grace Gardens.
Yes.
Okay. And you're praying throughout this process. You come to the banks, and what you're saying is it's important to go to the banks, show that you have clean books. Love that. Moving in transparency, moving in integrity. But the banks weren't understanding the vision to start off with because there wasn't nothing to compare it to.
Correct. They really thought it was risky, very risky. And so we finally were able to do it through an SBA loan. And I had no idea how much more paperwork that would entail, but we had really great people at the loan officers at First Savings that assisted us, and they were just God sent. I believe they saw the vision, and we just moved forward with that. So it was they allowed us a certain amount to start the project, but we had to invest a lot on our own. So we practically sold our home.
Wow. You were all in.
All in. I even pulled my teacher retirement early.
Okay.
All in.
Wow. Okay.
Pretty much everything that we had.
Wow. Okay. So you jump into this thing. Let's talk about how the banks hadn't seen anything similar. So one thing that I've noticed since moving to El Paso, it's been almost exactly 4 years since I moved here, is how many event centers there are around town. There's a lot.
Yes.
And it's because of really what I consider to be a very positive thing about our community is a focus on celebration. I believe that that's a beautiful thing about the borderland. But how are you different than these other event centers?
So our vision was to have a one-stop shop.
Okay.
And so we offer, we wanted people to come to our venue and not only be in a four-wall building, but we created an environment, a beautiful outdoor area. We actually have a pond, a man-made pond out there. There is fish out there.
That's a miracle right there. Water in the desert at Grace Gardens.
A little oasis out there.
Yeah.
And so we did want to make it to, and of course the Upper Valley, all the cotton fields, the pecan orchards. It's just a beautiful area. And of course we have the most beautiful sunsets here in El Paso.
Sure.
And so we had the perfect environment for it. And so why we are different is because we offer everything that they can use there. So food, we have our own chefs. Florists, we have our own floral shop, our own flowers. Bakery, we have our own bakery. We make everything from scratch, bread, cakes, everything.
Okay.
We have our own linens, a wide variety of linens, decor. So basically, they can come to our venue, and we even offer coordinators, on-site coordinators that will assist them with all of the planning during of their event that pertains to our services.
Okay, so I heard someone say this, and it's kind of the opposite of what you're saying, that for a lot of venues, really all they're offering is the room, and you even have to rent your own chairs.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you have everything there.
Yes.
The furniture, and you said even your own florist, everything is in-house.
Yes.
Okay, wow. All right. So it's a one-stop shop, and that was kind of the vision. And I guess the idea is to take stress off of the people who are hosting the event so they don't have to be coordinating these things themselves.
Right. We even offer the DJ and security, everything. So basically, they're anything else that is like their photography, maybe, or the videographer invitations. Those are something that they can get. But other than that, once they step into the venue, we take care of everything. And obviously, there's people that want to do things on their own. There's moms that dreamed about helping their daughter create this vision of the quinceañera, and of course they want to do their own arrangements or their own thing. So, yeah, we allow that.
Yeah.
So
you're not required to use your floors, but you have it.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so let's go back to this process of setting it up. You got this small business loan. You bought this massive piece of land. You are building this building, and then it was happily ever after, no challenges?
Oh my gosh, no. By far, I remember the first wedding that we did. So I just saw a picture the other day. My sister brought me a picture, and it was March 31st, 2007. We opened June 2007.
Okay.
We opened 4 months later. And 3 months later.
Yeah.
And it was just dirt and concrete. Literally, George pushed so hard. Running, the bank allowed him to be the general contractor. So he was able to subcontract and do a lot of that on our own. But that was probably the hardest time. It was definitely very difficult. Once we had our first event, I recall we both sat and we just cried.
A good cry or a what have we done?
What have we done?
Yeah, because at that point you can't get out of it. You have a loan to pay off, so you have to get into the business.
And our loan, we had to start making payments on it because we were already drawing from, to the construction. So we had to make payments whether we had events or not.
Yeah, of course.
So,
the bank isn't going to wait for you to figure everything out. The bill comes and you have to pay it.
Yeah.
All right. So why were you having that feeling?
I think it was a combination of how much we pushed, how much we were stressed that we had to do it. And we already had events lined up. And so we didn't want to disappoint. And of course, the fact that we were already making payments on the loan, we wanted to make sure that we could open the place so that we can start generating income.
Yeah. Okay, so you're just feeling all this pressure.
Yes, and when we sat there and thought, what did we build? Because we felt like we had to continue because it was in phases. That was just the first phase.
Okay. All right, so that was June 2007. It's been almost 20 years. Do you know a number of how many events you've had in those 20 years?
Oh, my goodness, no. Thousands.
Yeah.
Thousands of events. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So lots of weddings, lots of quinceañeras. I want to talk later in this conversation about maybe some things you observed, tips you might have about that from what you've observed. But what are maybe some of the events that are unusual, that are not the quinceañeras or the weddings?
We do a lot of, proms.
Okay.
We do proms. Right now is prom season. So we are hosting several proms, a lot of banquets, school banquets.
Okay.
That are sports banquets.
Sure.
We do also conferences. We just had a Texas Tech have a conference, a full day conference out there. We do have 4 different facilities now. So the people they can choose which one best suits their.
Right. So I know
event.
you have a big tent, and I've been inside I think it's probably your biggest building.
Yes.
What are the other structures?
The others are on the newest building, which is actually our office as well. And that one's, we have another facility that's about for 250 people. And then a smaller one for about 120, 150.
Okay. And another unusual event you recently had was a Passover Seder just last week with Calvary Chapel, Sun City, one of our good friends here at the KELP. So tell us about the Seder.
That went very well. It's our first time hosting it. My husband and I, they do it every 2 years. So we had attended it, not last year, but the previous year. And I loved it. I thought it was amazing. Experiencing the Passover, the way the Jewish celebrate it, and yet everything foreshadows Jesus. Everything is Jesus
Pointing
everywhere.
towards
So
him.
it was beautiful. We had 500 people. It was a packed house. I was a little stressed, I must say, because it's a time. Everything's on time. It has a timeline. So we wanted to make sure everybody was served quickly. I think we served everybody within 10 minutes. And
so that's what you're thinking about in the background. People are just there talking and relaxing, and you're like, I'm setting a timer. Everyone has to be served in a certain amount of time because I was recently at an event, and everyone was served over the course of over an hour. So some people, their food's getting cold, and other people don't have any food in front of them, and so people feel awkward eating, and so you're looking to get everything out there on time, and that's a stress point you feel as as you manage this.
Yes, and we have excellent workers. Of course, there's always challenges, and when you earlier said, it was a challenge. We went through ups and downs. Working with a spouse, my husband and I together, that's a challenge in itself.
Yeah, well, I think I learned that early on that my wife and I do so many things well together, but hanging wallpaper is not one of them. Working together that closely can be an interesting challenge, right?
Yes. But we were able to do it. But yes, going back to the challenge of making sure the timeline is. So in the back of the house, we worked very hard to make sure that the food is hot. We keep the food in warmers. They're covered. And we already built a system that works. And, some people might wait a little bit, but, for them, it might seem an eternity. But for us, we're like, we're good. We're
10
good.
minutes for 500 people is pretty good.
It's pretty good. But the good thing and the reward is that the people enjoyed the time, that they enjoyed the food, the companionship with each other, and that we were able to service them. So being in the service industry can be nowadays a little hard.
Yeah.
But I think we try to train our staff to be polite, to as much as we can.
Yeah, people. That's interesting. They're having a celebration, but they're also having the most stressful moment of their life. And so you might not always have the most positive side of them come out during that moment.
Yes, and the stress, the coordinators that we have, they say, this is their one in a lifetime event. So they want to make sure, the guests want to make sure, and our clients, that everything goes well. And of course, we're imperfect people.
Sure.
So obviously we're going to fail at one thing or another, but we try our best to make sure that everything runs smooth.
Yeah. I have to ask you this. So there were the years, I'm not sure I'm connecting all this here, but there were years where Sun City Calvary Chapel was meeting Calvary Chapel Sun City was meeting in a tent. Was that connected to you all?
Yes, that was actually because we still had 10-cent events when we opened Grace Gardens. So we were able to assist them with that.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, very cool.
Yes.
Yeah, because Pastor Terry is a regular on this program, and early on, I think one of the first conversations I had with him on air, he was talking about those tent years, and that was connected with you all. That's super cool.
Yes.
If you're just joining us with Sandra Rodriguez, she's the owner of, together with her husband George, of Grace Gardens Event Center here in El Paso's Upper Valley. I think a lot of people in our community know about Grace Gardens, of course, with so many events. it's interesting. Grace Gardens has come up in conversation recently on this program a few different times. One of those was when Every Little Blessing Preschool was here, and they were talking about the Whole Hog event, which you're going to be having on April 25th at Grace Gardens. I know there's going to be a lot of cornhole. What else is special about setting up for the Whole Hog?
It's definitely one of our large events. They use a lot of the outside area of the grounds, and we have a beautiful setup. We have a large green area where kids can run and they can play the cornhole. They use the tent. They have a live band outside. I think this is inside this year. Yeah. And then they do bring in the whole hog, but not only that, but they have brisket and turkey and chicken and all this food. It's so much food. I think it's one of those events where people come and they just eat very well. So if you go to there, it's a fun day.
Yeah, mm-hmm. That's so cool. Just hearing about these different events, from you talked about a conference, a Passover Seder, and then of course the whole hog. Just because of course quinceañeras, of course weddings, yes. But all of that. Again, we're with Sandra Rodriguez of Grace Gardens Event Center here in El Paso. We're going to continue this conversation, but first we have a traffic update with Charlie One. Charlie One, what are you seeing out on the roads this afternoon?
And a few tight spots. I'm going to start first at UTEP area where we have Schuster in Oregon, injury crash, but we have PD there, fire department there, active scene here, Schuster in Oregon, give them plenty of room. Let's go to Central, Gateway East at Copia. Crash there, blocking the left 2 lanes, Gateway East and Copia. Northeast, Gateway North and Sheridan, we have a crash. PD just arriving to the scene. That'll be blocking Gateway North and Sheridan. So up on the mountain, Trans Mountain westbound lanes at about the 15 where the runaway ramp is, have a crash right there. And the PD not there yet. You got to get a little distance to go to the mountain there. But Trans Mountain westbound lanes, so watch for that PD activity. That's going to go in there pretty soon up on the mountain, the Trans Mountain, about the 15-mile post. On the freeway, not too bad. I'm looking at I-10 east through that Spaghetti Bowl area. Not really too much of a slow up yet. Kind of moderate traffic right there. So just caution anyway. And Andy, back to you.
Charlie One, this afternoon we have Sandra Rodriguez with us. She's the owner of Grace Gardens Event Center here in El Paso, up in the Upper Valley. Of course, they have a lot of quinceañeras, and it's important to have the perfect food selection for that special day. But I think what a lot of young ladies are not thinking about for the quinceañera is the Breakfast of Champions here in the borderland. So if they were to choose to have a bowl of menudo for their quinceañera, where would you recommend they find it?
Yeah, that would be at Eastside Choice Meats. It's homemade menudo. Comes in those containers and just put it in the microwave when you're ready to eat it. But yeah, that'll save on time because I'll tell you what, the quinceañera is beautiful, but there's a lot of hectic that goes on there. Very busy, and it's just so many things that you have to do there that going to a restaurant may not fit into your schedule. However, if you have that menudo just ready to serve for the family for all the quinceañera party, Eastside Choice Meats, Romulan and Traywood, pick it up there, Andy.
Thank you, Charlie One. We'll talk soon.
You bet.
And we're back with Sandra of Grace Gardens. Sandra, you were laughing. Have you ever seen menudo at a quinceañera?
After the party.
After the party.
Maybe as a midnight snack.
That's funny. That's funny. So you've witnessed hundreds or thousands of quinceañeras. What are some tips you would have for families as they're planning?
Well, and I know you keep saying quinceañeras. We actually, the bulk of our events are weddings.
Okay.
But we do have quinceañeras a lot too. But I would say, budget.
Okay.
Have a budget. I do believe that you can do something beautiful. And the most important thing is having your family there. In company and celebrating you, whether it's a quinceañera or a wedding or a graduation. I do believe a lot of people sometimes put a lot of emphasis in the elaborate maybe decor, but sometimes that can be very costly, and that people will not always remember. They will always remember that you had a good time, you danced and you enjoyed that company. So
Right.
I do think that, put a budget and kind of
Stick to it.
stick to it.
Yeah.
Because you don't want this buyer's remorse afterwards.
Right.
I do believe that there's a lot of resources. I do believe that with what we offer, we are very competitive. I think we're very reasonable. Because what we offer is a lot, and
Right.
the grounds, just being able to walk out there and smell that nice fresh breeze, the water, the just a beautiful scenery of taking pictures. And so you don't even have to go to a place and take pictures. There's a lot of
Right.
places, even in El Paso, that are beautiful to take pictures. So there's a lot of ways to save money, but I would say just stick to the budget and talk to the vendors. A lot of our clients will come and talk to us, and they'll say, we want this, but how can you make it work?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of ways that we make it work and make it beautiful, without breaking the bank. So,
Right. Yeah. I think it's interesting. I was having this conversation with someone recently about an event, and the question came up, are we actually doing this for the kids, or are we doing it for the parents? And I think a lot of times there's this pressure, like we have to, I don't know, create an impression for our friends or show off or something like that. And you're saying just very sensible, have a budget, stick with it, and ask questions of the professionals, people who are doing it all the time.
Yeah.
What are some ways that maybe people don't think about to have something that's really tasteful, looks good, and also, like you said, doesn't break the bank?
For example, with our meals, sometimes there's certain different meals that we offer, different entrees, and so we obviously have lower budget options.
Sure.
And so that way, because if you're going to feed, in our culture, we tend to want to feed everyone.
Yeah.
So sometimes you have 200-300 people. That can be very costly.
Yeah, of course.
And so we do offer lower options
Right.
on that. Of course, I think the floral decor, the decor in itself, a lot of people bring in a lot of candy stations, and those are trends that are coming in, right? You can do a lot of things on your own.
A candy station.
Yeah.
What's a candy station?
They bring
Mac Daddy Del Norte would like that.
They're popular. They're everywhere.
Yeah. Don't talk about that, because he's going to leave the radio station and go to the candy station. So what is a candy station?
It's kind of like a station like here, KALP. No, just kidding. But it's candy.
Yeah.
No, it's basically a setup, table, a space where they offer a variety of candies, just like a candy store. They
really?
Yeah. They can.
I mean, that's kind of cool, just because I'm thinking about what else would we do during an event? A lot of people feel pressure to have, I don't know, some people feel pressure to have a giant table full of liquor. So a candy station sounds like a great option, as long as we don't overdose on, I don't know, on Skittles or whatever the case would be. But I've never heard of that. But that's what's trending right now.
Well,
I
for
apologize.
many years,
I don't get out of the house much, but you have an event with a candy station.
Yes.
Okay.
And some people really go all out, and I understand they go all out with the decor, but again, people just want to get the candy, so they're not going to remember. They might remember, oh, how beautiful it is, but they're going to want the candy. So you can bring your own candy and set up your own tables. Some people just, that's funny that you've never heard of it.
Yeah. I apologize. I spend all my day inside KELP, but I pulled up on my computer right now images of candy stations, and I feel like we're going to talk for the rest of the program about candy stations. But some of these are like elaborate. It's like, it's not just M&Ms. It's like fancy candy. It's fancy candy, Mac Daddy.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to a candy station, Mac Daddy Del Norte? Tell us about the candy stations.
Actually, yeah, as a matter of fact, I have. My wife is a big fan of it, especially if they're Mexican candy stations.
Oh, Mexican
you get the
candy
spices,
stations.
the little extra sauces that you could put on them, etc. It's really good.
Oh,
super
man.
good.
Yeah, I'm looking at this. I mean, this looks like a $10,000 candy station.
Yeah, she actually wanted to build like her own candy cart to take to these parties. Like that's a thing.
That's a thing.
Like you get rented out. I guess.
I need to get out of the house more. Okay. So,
You can go to Grace Gardens.
yeah. Right. Okay. So what you're saying is, people just want to try the candy. You don't need to break the bank on having this incredibly elaborate setup. You can do it yourself, and people are just going to love it.
Yeah.
You know, you can go to the wholesaler, Costco or whatever, and load up on candy. You can make it look tasteful, and that's a way to save money and have fun with the candy station.
Yes, and sometimes we even offer like nachos and nacho station, like nachos and chips and nachos, or people as they're dancing in the evening. So there's things that you can do to still offer your guests something a nice evening.
Right.
But most of the time, people just go and enjoy a nice dinner.
Right.
The cake, they look forward to the cake.
Yeah.
And sometimes by the time they are going to cut the cake, nobody wants it because they've been full of candy and other stuff.
Right.
So those are areas that you can budget on.
Yeah, and I think part of this is not being embarrassed to have a conversation.
Right.
You know, just like ask about it, ask what are other people doing, what are some ways to, have tons of fun, and like you said, again, not break the bank, because I think, everyone wants to have this amazing, of course, once in a lifetime wedding or quinceañera. Of course, it's once in a lifetime. That's the plan. But no one wants to be paying off the bills for months or even years afterward.
Yeah.
It really takes a lot of the fun out of it.
Yes. And it's part of our culture to celebrate. I think in El Paso, we like to celebrate. I mean, people just like going to events. It's a good thing.
Right.
So we really try to, like I said, host a wide variety of events there.
Right.
We do give back to the community. We do offer very good pricing for nonprofits to have events there, and for churches to host their events there. We do offer quite a bit. Like this Saturday, we're having Dream Small Ministries, and it's a ministry that does a lot for the community and works a lot with autistic children.
Oh, wow.
So there's actually
Very cool.
an event. It's free for the people to come out and bring their children, and there's ideas, crafts, and free food for them. It's going to be at Grace Gardens this
Awesome.
Saturday.
Yeah.
And also we're having Mother's Day brunch in May. And that's those proceeds go to Freedom in Christ residential centers.
Very cool.
So, yeah.
All right. If you're just joining us with Sandra Rodriguez, she's the owner of Grace Gardens here in El Paso. I love having these conversations, learning all about our community. And of course, a big part of our community is coming together for celebration. And an event center like Grace Gardens is very essential to those kind of celebrations. We do need to take a break. Before we go into the break, this is where KELP Radio would like to thank our impact partners. These are local businesses, churches, nonprofits, educational institutions that have joined us in our journey to serve our community through this radio ministry. The impact partner I want to point out today, I haven't mentioned in quite a while. It's Rio Grande Auctions. The website is riograndeauctions.com. I believe it's El Paso's only online auction, and I've often said on air that this is where it's our family secret. It's not really a secret anymore because I keep on talking about it on the radio, but this is where our family does a lot of our Christmas shopping. They have so many great options at really incredible prices. riograndeauctions.com. To view all of our impact partners, you can go to kelpradio.com. Just scroll down to the impact partner section, and if you own or manage a business here in El Paso, you can reach out to us at through the website, kelpradio.com. If you're interested in becoming an Impact Partner, we'll just have a little conversation and explain, just discover together if that's a good partnership. We would love to serve with you and let our audience know about your product or your service. We're going to go into a break. Do not touch that dial.
We'll be right back. Don't touch that dial.
915 Talk is listener supported and is a production of Desert Voice Media. That's right. It's people just like you who make this program possible. Together with Desert Voice, you can learn how to better serve our neighbors and pray for our community. To become a Desert Voice Media partner, you can visit desertvoice.media. That's right. That's the website, desertvoice.media. Take a look and join us today in reaching our borderland for Christ.
Thank you for listening to KELP Radio. I am Pastor Drew Cook from Coronado Baptist Church in West El Paso. Join us every weekday at 11:30 a.m. for 2021 Radio. In John chapter 20, verse 21, Jesus says, "As the Father has sent me, even so I am sending you." Our prayer is that as you hear God's word, you would be strengthened, anchored, equipped, and sent to fulfill the ministry that God has given you to do.
Tune in to KELP Radio Monday through Friday at 11:30 a.m. for 2021 Radio from Coronado Baptist Church.
Greetings, KELP listeners. This is Terry Gray, pastor of Calvary Chapel, Sun City, and speaker on the Summons broadcast heard each weekday at 5 p.m. right here on this station. Calvary Chapel, Sun City is located at 960 West Borderland Road on the west side of El Paso. We hold services on Wednesday evenings at 7 and on Sunday mornings at 9 and 11. If you are without a church home, we would love to have you join us for worship and Bible study. You can find out more information about us on the web at www.ccsuncity.org.
915.
Testify.
For a long time, I really did not like reading the Bible. I didn't find a reason to do it. I would not make time in my day for it. I just found it kind of pointless. Until recently. I was in the Philippines on a mission trip, and while I was there, I met a small kid, probably 13 years old, and I asked him, what do you do for fun around here? He lived in the jungle, so there wasn't a lot. But he told me, I go down to the library and I read the Bible, and that impacted me so hard, because I was like, wow. This guy has a drive for Jesus. He's hungry for Jesus. I need to be like that. And that's why I have started reading the Bible. It's really inspired me to read more and to get more into God's Word. My name is Wesley, and if God did this for me, He can do it for you.
And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb
And by the word of their testimony.
Desertvoice.media.
We're back. You're listening to 915 Talk.
We are back, and you are listening to 915 Talk. I'm your host, Andy Frecka. Today we're with Sandra Rodriguez of Grace Gardens Event Center here in El Paso. Like I always say at the beginning of this program, we're on this educational journey. I think the main thing I learned today was about candy stations. But Sandra, really enjoying this conversation. Before we went into the break, you mentioned that you do have special pricing for nonprofits, for churches. I think that's super cool. And what I'll say is what I often say in this program. Just reach out. Just call. Number is 915-877-2745 for Grace Gardens, or it's elpasogracegardens.com. They're super easy to find on the internet. Just reach out and have a conversation. Find out if Grace Gardens would be a good fit for your event, whether it be a wedding or a church event. We just talked about Calvary Chapel Sun City had their Passover Seder there. Super cool. The whole hog, we've talked about that. Sandra, you and your husband, George, you're strong Christians. You're running this business. What are some of the challenges as Christian business owners?
I would guess this was a large endeavor. So once you open a business, you're invested in it.
Sure.
And so it was not easy for us. George and I worked really hard. I was teaching back then. I continued teaching until we were able to say, okay, I can quit and focus entirely.
What did
on
you
this.
teach?
I family and consumer science. So I used to be child development, home economics, pretty much. Yeah, at the high school level.
Very cool. Okay.
Yes. So.
So you had these challenges along the way.
Yes, just being able to finish what we started. And so continue to pray God to provide. We had, thank God, the support of our family, our parents, our brothers, sisters. They all at some point helped out financially and helped us out in any way that they could. We had great neighbors that really, stretched out and helped us out. So I do feel that God surrounded us with a lot of people that saw the vision and helped us out. So when people say, "Are you the owner?" my husband always says, "No, we're not. This is the bank still owns it, but everything is God's." Right. And so challenges, I would say, have been as Christian owners is, we're so imperfect, and so we're always in that spotlight, and so just being judged for decisions that we make might offend people. And so, but if we stand firm in what we believe and honor God as much as we can, of course we're so imperfect, but God is so good and so full of grace. And I do believe that as time has gone by, it's been, to say Grace Gardens, I always think of God's grace, just unmerited favor. Nothing we could have done to deserve this. God just really was graceful and has blessed us and truly sustained us, I can say, through it all, because our challenge was not only financing this large event center, but we put in everything that we had into it. We sacrificed a lot of time and even holidays and not being able to go on vacation and doing things that we wanted. And I think finally the business is building up. So being patient with the business, you can't expect to open a business and you're going to make money.
Right. Yeah, I heard you say a few different things, and I want to underline them. One is, I think when someone comes to Grace Gardens, I think for most people, they'll be like, everything was perfect. Everything. But what I've heard you say over and over again is we're imperfect. And I love that mindset, because I think a lot of people who run event centers, they're going to give you the opposite message. Everything's going to be perfect. And what you're saying is that's what we're striving for, but we're trusting in God's grace.
Yes.
Yeah. So I love that. And then when I asked you about being a Christian business owner, the other thing you said was really consistency. That's what people need to see in the highs and lows during the challenges, is that you continue on.
Exactly.
What would you say to maybe a Christian business owner out there who's just tired of it and maybe wanting to give up?
Well, I guess it would just depend on where they're at in their life, but I would say just keep your head up and continue to pray for God's guidance. I do believe that, for example, during COVID, it was really hard because we are in the business of social gathering.
Yeah.
So when we were shut down, it was hard, but we kept our employees. We whatever we had in our savings, we used it to help and make sure our employees were taken care of.
Sure.
And of course, we did get some government assistance, but we didn't close our doors to our employees. And so we wanted to make sure that we took care of them. They're like our family.
Yeah.
And I believe we have such a blessed group of people. They're amazing. They work very hard. And I do believe that if you just persist and go in faith.
Yeah.
Just have faith. God giveth, God taketh.
Yeah.
And that's how I see it. And that's how my husband and I see it. If one day we don't have this anymore, it's God's will. That's okay.
Right.
We move on. But as far as we're concerned, God has sustained us so far because we've trusted in him.
Right. Amen. And some years ago, I think when you were young, you would go on some mission trips.
Yes, I love missionary trips. The church we used to belong to was very loved doing a lot of evangelical trips. So any opportunity I had, since I was teaching, I used to have my summers off. So my summers off were always going to La Sierra in Chihuahua or Juarez, just our neighbors.
Sure.
You know, did a lot of that. Did a lot of the. We went to India. That was
cool.
a big one. So it was a good trip there. And we went to Brazil. And of course, I loved also doing. I did a little bit of the jail prisons ministry too.
Okay.
And I just really enjoyed all of that.
Very cool.
Really enjoyed that. Was a blessed. When I think of that, I think that was my happiest time ever. I do. I love it.
That's so cool. And very often folks have either gone to India or Juarez, but you did both. That's super cool. And just you share about it with such a smile on your face. And I would encourage our audience, if your church is going on a mission trip, sign up.
Yes.
Just sign up, get out there, give it your best, because there's a whole world out there that we can learn from. This has been such a great conversation. Really appreciate you coming in today, Sandra. The website is elpasogracegardens.com. It's easy to find on the web, Grace Gardens El Paso. The number is 915-877-2745. We only have a couple minutes left. You talk about this whole life of growing up here in the borderland, how God led you and your husband into first this tent business and then Grace Gardens, and it's been this faith journey. As you look at your borderland community, if you could pray one prayer, what would that prayer be?
Unity. And I do believe that there's people that are hurting, and being so close to the border, treat your neighbor like you would want to be treated. Because, not only within us, but also Juarez.
Yeah.
And not forget that they are our neighbors too, and there's a lot of need there.
Yeah. Love it. Sandra, thanks so much for coming in today. As
Thank
we always
you.
say, let's learn to love our city and love our neighbors. And today I'll add, let's be sure to take part in celebrations around the borderland. I believe that brings joy to God's heart as well. And let's give God all the glory. This has been 915 Talk.
You have been listening to 915 Talk, a production of Desert Voice Media. To listen to this or any previous edition of 915 Talk, just visit desertvoice.media and click on the 915 Talk link. Let's continue to learn to love our city, love our neighbors, and give God all the glory.
Hi, I'm Johnny Erickson Tada, and I love where Psalm 100 says, serve the Lord with gladness. I've got a great Christian friend who does exactly that. Ask for help or ask her to do something. She smiles and says, I'm on it. She makes asking for help fun, and that brings delight to the Lord. Charles Spurgeon once said,